Hey, Mark Ramsey sitting here with the great Bill Freund. Bill is EVP of Clip Interactive. Billy, first of all, welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
It's nice to have you here in San Diego once again.
Awesome.
You and I have talked about Clip Interactive before. Just before we get into the news that you have to share, talk to me about what the app is real quick.
Sure. So the app basically makes the scale of the broadcast, the over-the-air listener, interactive. Allows them to hear everything that they're listening to on the station, interact with it, the music, the contests, the promotions, and most importantly from a revenue standpoint, the ads. So the broadcast, where all the scale exists today, becomes fully interactive and digital and allows that listener to engage deeply.
Okay. So a lot of people out there are going to say, so what, it's an app, it's another app. I hear a lot about potentially station-branded apps. What's the big deal? But you have an interesting revenue story to tell.
We do. That's the big game changer from a standpoint of buy-in from advertising partners, and that is that we've generated over $1.8 million in new and income revenues for broadcast. And what that is advertisers who previously were not buying radio or previously were spending a little bit in radio are coming back and saying, hey, with these new capabilities, for the listener to not only hear my ad, but interact with it in the station app and tap on a visual of that ad, open it up and engage, and then for the advertiser to receive a real lead or contact information back, that's the game changer. So that brings them back into radio.
It's more value for consumers, it's more value for advertisers, and that means more value for broadcasters.
Exactly.
And the important thing is that there's no additional stuff required. I don't need FM built into my phone. I don't need any other stuff. This is an app just like you would download any other station customized app, right?
That's exactly right. And the station is in complete control of their own destiny. And what that is they can go on the air, promote their new app, not as a streaming app, but as a mobile app with a great engagement experience, and immediately start creating monthly active users and then going out and generating real revenue from that. No carriers adoption, no device adoption. Our platform works on all devices and all carriers, so immediately that station can go after revenue. The other thing is, it's on an individual market-by-market basis. So you can have scale in a market quickly for your station group that generates revenue versus waiting for national scale.
Right. Now, how many affiliates do you have now, and where's it headed?
It's actually going through the roof. So we just signed the entire Beasley Group. We signed the entire Gigi Group. We're in markets with Cumulus and Entercom. We've got the Salem Group signed as well. By probably February 15th, we're going to be in 26 markets with about 225 affiliates using our platform. So
and give me a sense of the usage statistics.
Well, from an engagement standpoint, we're seeing open rates. When someone hears an audio ad and opens their app, we're seeing open rates as high as 30%, which are ungodly, as you know, in the digital world. And then from there, we're seeing engagement rates from 3 to 15%, depending upon what they're trying to engage with. Obviously, if it's artist content or music, there's very high engagement rates. Ads are a little bit lower, but still anything above a single percentage point for an ad engagement, which is tap a button and I want to go deeper, that really makes a difference for the advertiser. That's where the revenue is generated.
Now, you make a distinction. You made a distinction earlier in this conversation between a streaming app and a mobile app. Now, there's wrapped up in that is a lot of meaning I want you to unpack, because everyone's looking at this saying, well, I got a streaming app. I've got an app that's look, I'm a radio station. My app streams my station. Doesn't that fulfill the obligation? What you've done through this difference that you're establishing is you've essentially said, no, we're not going to simply offer the stream. We're going to offer the stream, but we're also going to create an experience that allows people to interact with the content, whether it's content over the air or over the stream.
Correct. So no matter how you listen, if you're a streamer, great, or if you're a broadcast listener, you open that app and there's a ton of rich content there. Radio has 24/7 live updated content like no other medium. Why not make every piece of content that goes over the air, the music promotions, the contests, the ads, the talk, the sports, interactive? That's the game changer for radio. For allow that to happen gives people a compelling reason to go to that mobile app every day. Why do you go to your Facebook feed every day? Because there's something in there from one of your friends about you that you like. Well, if you have a favorite radio station, you're a P1 listener, you go in, you get that interaction with that personality, that music, that artist, that content, that contest.
Also, like Facebook, you made this point to me as well, like Facebook, radio is always fresh. You talked about the amount of fresh content on the Clip apps. It's really amazing.
Well, that's the key. Every time you open an app,
because radio is.
Exactly. If there's something new there, it's going to keep you coming back. If you go there and it's static and it's the same thing you saw in the morning that you saw at night, guess what? You're not going to come back. The big difference is that our application is positioned as a mobile app, not a streaming app. Streaming is a feature. If you choose to listen to the content of streaming, that's great. But when you look at all the mobile industries out there, whether it's sports, finance, health, entertainment, they're not just one-dimensional.
Right.
They're two-way, interactive with rich content.
Well, why have an app if you can't offer something other than what I can get over the radio,
exactly.
right?
And ultimately, radio needs to deeply embrace mobile as a future, but have it tied to the core scaled asset, which is the broadcast, the 243 million people who are still listening over the air.
Explain that a little bit. So the core is over the air. We all know the core is over the air, but that's because of the numeric difference in terms of usage streaming versus over the air.
Right. I mean, for terrestrial radio, it's about a 95-5 number, and that is it. 5% is listening to a stream. 95% is still listening to the broadcast. Imagine giving that 95%, the 28 million average quarter hour that at any given moment of the day people are listening to the broadcast, give those the digital capabilities that, Facebook and others have. You have a huge boon for radio to go out and say, hey, we have scale and we have interactivity and accountability.
Right.
That's the
Which
big changer.
That's the magic formula.
That's the changer. So I believe that the future is still the broadcast with the right digital and interactive capabilities to make that scaled listenership truly meaningful to advertisers locally and nationally.
That's great.
Yeah.
So if people want more information about Clip and by the way, for anybody who already has an app and is looking at this saying, I've got an app, can this integrate with my app, or do I need something all new? What's the answer to that?
We work both ways. We will replace your old apps with a new branded custom station app, whether you have one station or 100 stations, or if you have a streaming platform and a mobile platform that wants to integrate our technology, and we do that as well. We have an
The key
API.
thing I think people need to understand is that, first of all, this is really about the reason why this is monetizable is because it adds value to advertisers, adds value to consumers, and adds value to broadcasters, all of the above, right? That's why there are numbers at the end of this.
That's exactly right. Revenue is the ultimate proof of whether this works, and that is what is getting the traction with our stations and with the advertisers, because they're going into a conversation with an advertiser who wouldn't meet with them before or thought they knew everything about radio, and when you show them these capabilities, they go, you know what, I want to try it. We've got a long list of clients who are in that vein.
Not cannibalizing other dollars, not value add.
No, we specifically don't want it to be value add. The reality is that if you want your broadcast schedule to have interactive capabilities, you need to pay an upcharge, a premium, a 15 to 20% premium. And if you're a new advertiser, obviously you're buying for the first time with these capabilities. But it's all about generating new revenue for radio, getting existing advertisers to pay a premium to make those spots interactive and measurable and accountable. And that's where the revenue is coming from.
And you're doing this all formats, all across the country, and really all across the world.
Yeah, we have first client in Italy, which is Spiro Holdings. We're working with 10 stations over there. We're expanding to Canada and other places. But at the end of the day, what really comes down to is when I sit with the heads of these companies and I show them the revenue potential against the scale of the broadcast, not just the 5% in streaming, they go, wow, that can change my financial picture. That can create value for radio. And that's why we're getting traction.
Bill Freund, EVP of Clip Interactive. Bill, thank you.
Thank you. It's been great. Always a pleasure, Mark.